Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and today I'm going to teach you how to get around the Nordschleife and survive. I'm not going to tell you the way around it. I'm not going to show you how to drive each corner. There's loads of videos that do that, but I'm going to give you some tips that will probably help you survive it, and in fact probably survive any race that you go into. Now, first of all, let's get real. What are your objectives when sim racing? I want to win. Yeah, we all want to win, but you need to be realistic. With low fuel motorsport, as you know, you've got an ELO rating, and unless you've come into low fuel motorsport quite late on and you're a very experienced racer, then your ELO rating is going to be about what your level is at that time. It might be a bit higher, it might be a bit lower, okay? And as you go through races, at that point then you find out what your level is. If you are, let's say, a 2000 ELO rated driver, and that's where you're hovering around, you're not really moving up and down, and you go into a race where there's 5 drivers with 4000 ELO rating, the chances are you're not going to beat them. Now, I have noticed with qualifying and race and seeding, where I am is about where I am in the race. Sometimes I can make up a few places in the race. That could be down to a number of things, people going off, people get taken out, people getting drive-throughs, anything like that. There are certain races I go into where I'm quite high up on the ELO rating and I'm quite confident I'm going to get quite a good finish. But you need to be realistic, okay? You're not going to win every single race that you enter. Now, I don't mind telling you where I am, and then you'll understand where I'm coming from with this. Let's have a look at my overall results with low fuel motorsport from 2024. So here we go. We got 318 races, 20 wins, 83 podiums, 138 top 5s and 218 top 10s. Safety rating's gone up a little bit. It had a few iffy races when I joined in races that I probably shouldn't. My Assetto Corsa rating's gone up 1,000 points. I had quite a big jump in that. That's mainly what I was concentrating on. Assetto Corsa Competizione went up 233. Didn't really do too much with that. Just the GT4s, and I don't always get time for that. Then there's AMS2. ELO rating didn't do a lot. Didn't start till December, so I haven't really gone up a lot there. Favourite car, Cupra Leon. Well, I'm now in the Audi. 27,000 kilometres raced last year. That's a lot of kilometres. That's more than a lot of people drive on the road. So I've put in a fair bit of effort. But from that, if you look at roughly where my finishes are, 318 races, 218 of those were top 10. So I would like to hope that most races I finish in are in the top 10. And I've stopped doing the races where there's only like 6 or 7 people. They're not rated, so there's no point unless I just want to do it for some practice. So look at what your results are and look at what your realistic expectations are. Now, my realistic expectations, Division 1, I want to be top 10. November and December for work didn't really work out for me, to be honest, and I ended up, I think, 13th in Division 1 in the TCRs. I was happy with that, and it all depends on where you think you can finish in the championship. We all want to win. We all want to win Division 1, but only one person is going to do that. So let's get to the task at hand, the Nordschleife. How can you survive it? Nordschleife is 20 kilometres, 12 odd miles, something like that. I forget how many turns there are. I didn't do the research. You all know anyway. There's a lot. And it is a difficult track to learn. But as we all know, particularly as sim racers, it's a great track to learn. We can all go around and tell our mates, I can do this around the Nordschleife in this car, and it's relevant to a lot of sim racers because they all pretty much try and drive around it and get a good time. So how do you get that good time? First of all, practice, and then practice some more, and then practice probably a lot more. Now, of course, don't forget setup. If you're using a Assetto Corsa, you can go up into the setup exchange, and providing the car that you're driving has been driven before and someone's put a setup on and loaded it there, you can use someone else's setup, and that will help you. And that's what I actually did for the race that I'm going to show you in a minute. So first of all, practice and get to a time where you think you're about at your level and about fast enough. Okay, now to learn the track, you can look at videos online of in-car stuff, whether it's real, whether it's sim. There's loads of guides of which gear you should be in for each corner. It all depends on how much time you've got, but spend some time learning the track first of all. Next, go out and practice with people on that track, which you can do with LFM. Now what you might be able to do is tag along behind someone who you can see is maybe a little bit quicker, and try and follow them and see where they're quicker than you and learn from it. This isn't a short process, by the way. This could take you weeks, months, possibly years. Depends how much time you've got to dedicate to it. So that's the first thing you need to do to survive the Nordschleife. Moving on to the second point. Now this is probably a saying or an analogy that you've heard before many times, and maybe it's gone in one ear and out the other. To finish first you have to finish. So we know the Nordschleife is tight. We have a number of unknowns, which is the standard of the drivers who you're racing against on LFM. Now they have lowered the safety rating threshold for TCRs this season, which means we went into a race last week where 10 of the drivers had safety ratings of 1 or 1.5, which is pretty horrific. So you need to stay out of their way. So on lap 1, after you've done your quali, and the idea is with your practice you've managed to qualify reasonably okay, stay out of trouble. And what I mean by that is if you see 3 cars up ahead that are vying for position, you need to think to yourself that they're probably going to go off. And if they do go off, the chances are they're going to hit the barrier at the side and they're going to come straight back out in front of you. So you need to almost be covering that brake pedal at all times and waiting just to react and take evasive action if you need to. Now this means you might lose a couple of places, but with that sort of race, you're probably going to gain those places back. So second point is make sure you finish the race. Third point, avoid your own mistakes. We all have little offs, okay? This is where your practice comes back into play, okay? If you've practiced it, you know where the track goes, you should be okay. But it's always going to happen. You're going to have an off somewhere. And if you get an off track, then you get a cut warning. And you may end up with 3 of those, which then means you need a drive-through. So back off the pace a little bit. Remember, where's my level? Where do I expect to finish? You don't have to be flat out around there all the time. Yes, it's great if you can, but if you're still learning or you're not as experienced, take that time, okay? Keep the car on the black stuff, stay out of trouble. First of all, you practice and you've got a decent time. Secondly, you've survived lap 1 and everyone's then settled down a little bit. You can then get into your rhythm of the speed that you naturally drive at around there, or maybe even be following someone who might be a little bit quicker and might be dragging you along. It's always easier to watch someone else, look where their braking points are, look where their turning is. So if you're following and you're not as experienced, don't necessarily think about trying to overtake straight away, because if you do, it's then down to you and he's going to follow you. So start to get into a rhythm. Now with the TCR races, they're only 20-minute races, which basically means 3 laps. There's not a lot of time to get into that rhythm. But on some of the other platforms, you might have 30, 45, even hour-long races. You might even want to get really stupid and go into the 2-hour endurances, but I wouldn't recommend that straight away. Do the shorter ones first. Point number 4, pick your battles. This is a very important one, and it goes back to the ELO rating and where you think you are seeded, if you like, compared to how LFM think you're seeded within that race. Now, it might be that the guy in front of you that you're following is a fair bit slower. Again, pick your battles, pick your time, okay? Make a move on a part of the track that you know well enough that hopefully you're not going to get pushed off. But keep an eye on your mirrors, because there may be cars out of position at the beginning. There might have been an incident from, say, the top 3 or 4 guys where they've come together and a couple of the faster guys are behind you. Look at your relative times, look in your mirrors, because if there's a car that's coming up on you and he's catching you a second or so every few corners, you know that car's a lot quicker than you. There's no point fighting, okay? Because all that's going to happen is if you're that much slower than that person, you're going to be less experienced than that person. He's going to try and make an aggressive move on you. You may make a mistake, it takes you both out. Then you've lost that place. Remember, to finish first you have to finish. So pick your battles, okay? Faster cars behind coming up, you might want to just let them by. You will see an example of that in this race. Number 5, enjoy yourself. Don't put pressure on yourself, okay? As I say, you want to win, everyone wants to win, but not everyone's going to. Learn. It's a learning process. And you will learn a lot from sim racing, from joining other discords, watching videos online of some of the other guys. And you need to be realistic with that. You can watch as many Jardier videos as you want. You're probably not going to be as quick as him. Don't worry, I know some of you out there are. If you're watching this, you're probably watching the wrong channel, to be honest, because this is aimed more at your starters or average or just the casual sim racer, okay? Not you pro guys out there. So this race around the Nordschleife, we went into, there were, I think 3 or 4 of us entered into it, but we were in different splits. And I ended up with Matt Olkers, who I've raced before in the Super Tourings and the TCRs, and he's part of our Discord. He said, why don't we all go into the Nordschleife? Well, we did, except we all got split into different splits. Matt and I were in split 1. I think Brooksy was 1 or 2 splits down. There were 4 splits in total. So it didn't quite work out the way we thought it would. And we're probably going to try this race again on Sunday to see if we can get some points. We are also currently leading the TCR Championship already. Let's hope that stays. Now, if it's the first time you watch one of my videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and please comment away. As I say, this video isn't aimed so much at those of you who are consistently getting top 3s, because I know that some of the viewers are. This is for the people who are a bit further down the ranks, maybe in split 2, split 3s, and they just want to survive, but are a little bit intimidated by the Nordschleife, okay? And as I say, these rules apply to pretty much any car, any track. So grab yourselves a cup of tea or coffee, or indeed something a little stronger if it's that time of the evening, and enjoy the highlights of this one. I'm not really too worried about this. Right, that was close. Right, Matt's in 5th.
Okay, yellow.
Great rejoin, whoever that was. Go on, you can't see what's going on, dude. It's all going to go wrong ahead. Like that. Stay out of trouble, Ian. Just stay out of trouble. Didn't see who went off. But I just want to stay out of trouble and get through these first couple of laps. Stay with these boys ahead. Because if I can stay with them and get away from the pack behind, I've got a decent chance for good finish.
Yellow here.
Phew. I was just waiting for that car to come back across the track. Right, Matt's in third. I'm hoping things are settled out a little bit now.
We need to hold up.
Oh, I've slowed through there. Go on. I just don't want to get held up. I don't want to get held up and get caught by the cars behind. That would be a disaster. I want a gap. Right, Prem's behind me. He's fast. If Prem gets up here, I'm letting him through. Which I think he will. That was messy.
Gap ahead's now 1.3.
Yeah, I am not a master of this track by any standards.
Caution.
Survival. That's going to be the key. I may be very quiet during this.
You're reeling. B5 in. The gap's down to 0.9.
See if we can get the slipstream down here, but although we've been respectful and he's been close to me, I don't know what he's like door handle to door handle. Frame's dropped off a bit. Matt's down at fourth. He's about 4 seconds ahead. Relax the arms a little bit. I've got a couple of purple sectors. That's a surprise. Should hit about 260 kilometres an hour coming down a hill here. And it's, how late do I brake?
Yellow. E7, it's closing in. Gaps down to 2.3, eyes forward. Stay focused. E6.
To be fair, the last time I raced TCRs on a Nordschleife, it was a nightmare. Because of, I got taken out. Tried to rejoin, then the guy hit me and then reported me for an unsafe rejoin. So, lap 1, pretty much survived, made up a couple of places, 6th place after lap 1, starting 8th. I'm actually quite happy with. Actually, even the quali, I wasn't too unhappy with where I started. So then it was to settle into the race and see if I could hold on to that position. We're going to skip lap 2, we're going to go straight to lap 3. Those two are going at it. Where's Prem? He's 1.6 behind. Just need to try and keep this pace up. Oh, that's Matt ahead of me. That I wasn't expecting. In practice, Matt was telling me he was doing 7 minutes 10, 7 minutes 11.
Paolo is now in the lead. That's halfway. You got plenty of fuel. Let's go. Last lap.
Last lap. And Prem is on me. I won't fight too hard if he gets me, because I don't want an off.
Gap out back is now 0.8.
I don't want an off. I don't want to get any safety rating drops, so I don't want to crash. I just would like to finish.
You've used half your fuel.
He's getting closer. Gone wide there. Ever so slightly closer. He's gaining hundredths of a time. I don't really want him following me through here. He's getting close. Do you know what? That is a far better idea.
This guy. Don't worry about it too much. You got time to get him back.
I would rather do that and try and slipstream him at the end or push him into a mistake. It'll mean I won't catch Matt, but I might learn something as well. Colin Esch, 2.4 behind. Actually, it's not Colin. Chen, 2.4 behind. He's having a battle with Colin, so hopefully they might be out of my way, I don't know. Just hang on to this. 7th place I'd be quite pleased with for my first TCR race proper around the Nordschleife. One of them's gone off behind. And Colin's catching. This could have been a bad move. Oh, Ian.
Yellow here.
Who's gone off?
Gap 36 ahead is increasing. It's now 1.0 seconds.
Now I know some of you are thinking, why did you let him past? Because I didn't want the risk of him taking me out.
Caution.
That's Matt who's had an off there, and I nearly had one as well. Can I get the slipstream on that? No, I'm not going to get that. But 7th place, I'm happy with that. Prem was a little bit quicker than me.
It's a new quick lap for Rent 7:12.9.
This should be the last lap. Are they going to take each other out?
Alright, yellow here. He's 7. Alright, that's it.
I'm happy with that. That was a messy last couple of corners, Matt, but I enjoyed it. I had a good finish. 7th place, I'm happy with that. It could have very, very nearly been 5th. Prem and Matt having a bit of a coming together in the last few corners, and I thought then I might get something out of it, but it wasn't to be. But why did I let Prem pass? Prem was faster. I've looked at the lap times after, albeit it's not a lot. It's about a second and a half, 2 seconds a lap quicker than me. So I made the right decision, because on that last lap, I wanted to finish and I wanted to get some decent points in the bag for the TCR season, which I did, to be fair. So I'm quite happy with where I came and the decision that I made. I could have pushed harder, but in the long run, with Prem breathing down my neck, it's so easy to make contact on the Nordschleife. Pick your battles. That's what I did. Thanks for watching this video, and hopefully that has given you some tips of 1, how to survive the Nordschleife, and 2, how to survive sim races in general. I'll see you on track.